congratulations, you've gotten that letter and they've asked you to come join them. They've sent you all the documents and you now know what to do, because if you've watched this video, you will see all the things you need to pack into your suitcase before you leave for this new adventure that you're going to embark on. And if you watch this video, it will tell you all the things you need to prepare, all the documentations you need to prepare before you set off on your journey. In this video, I'm going to be telling you what you need to expect when you get there. Well, I can tell you this because my name is Janet and I'm the Ajala teacher. If you don't understand Nigerian parlance, that means the traveling teacher. I would have chosen traveling teacher for my channel, but because that had already been taken, and besides, this is a diary where I get to share my experiences of traveling to 9 countries over 6 continents of the world with my family, hoping that from my experience I can inspire you to join in this noble profession of teaching. Now, today's focus would be on what to expect in your first month of being at this new amazing adventure that you've embarked on. The first thing you need to know is that there'll be someone there at the school to welcome you. Most international schools that I've worked at will always send someone there to meet you at the airport. They know you're new. They know this is your first time in that country. They're not callous. They know that you've come here to give your best. So they'll do their best to give you their best at the beginning of your tenure at the school. If there's nobody at the school waiting for you, it means you've not followed that video. And you need to head over to that video, pause this, head over to that video and watch it, and then come back here because I'll be right here waiting for you. Good, so you're back. Fantastic, well done. So let's get into it. So the person will be at the airport waiting for you, and you will introduce yourself to the person and make sure that they know that you have arrived. The reason why I say this is because many international schools where I've worked will send out your ticket ahead of time, and they will always make sure that they look at your arrival time and they'll be there waiting for you. Now, it's always good for you to make contact with them. Please don't try to tell them that you'll find your way. There's no point. Don't stress yourself. Let them take care of you. You're there to do a job. So if they're doing their job by meeting you at the airport, please take advantage. I usually traveled with my children, so having someone meet me at the airport was always very necessary, very crucial, because we'll all have one suitcase each. I have 2 children that I'm dragging along with me, usually dragging because they would have just left their friends at their old school and at our old host country, and they will not be in the best of moods at that time. If that's the case with you, I feel you. I understand you totally. Now, when you meet this person, you'll make sure that the person knows that you have arrived. So they're not frantically searching for you, especially when they know that you do not understand the language. They will settle you into a hotel, if your case is like mine, because I usually got whisked from the airport straight to the hotel, where they would have booked me into the hotel, myself and my family into the hotel for a week. The reason why they book you into a hotel for a week or 3 days or however many days that the school has described is because they know you need a roof over your head while you search for a place to stay. In my case, they'll book me into a hotel for a week for myself and my family, because my family is usually on my contract, and then we will have a base from which to then go out every evening. Honestly, every single evening we're out looking at the houses that we would have chosen. Again, it's all explained in that video that I released, which you've already watched. Now, when you've gone through the house hunt, don't think you have a month. You don't have a month, which is why it's always good to already have an idea of where you want, so that you're not going to different parts of the town, of the city, looking for a place to stay. You already have a little idea. You've not committed yourself to anything, but you have an idea of what you want, so they know exactly where to take you. Then, while all that is going on in your personal life, you're ready for the induction. There's usually an induction for new teachers at every new school. The reason why you have an induction is because they know that, again, they know you're new, so they have to tell you what the rules of engagement are, much like you will be doing in the classroom, where you'll be telling the children what the rules of engagement are in your classroom. The school also has something like that. In your induction, they'll tell you the lines of management, who your contact person, who you need to be in touch with, who you need to know. The induction is usually for new teachers. Now, if you're a new teacher at this new international school and you think that there are not many teachers there, fear not. New teachers usually arrive before the remaining teachers. So let's say if the teachers are meant to resume on the 1st of September, for instance, you would be there from the 21st of August. They give you like a 2 week, or in my case, I usually got a 2 week head start before all the other teachers arrive, because those teachers also have their own induction. They have their own team building activities. They have a lot of things that they have to do, which the school would not want you to lump in addition to being new. So they would always advise you to come in early. If you've just been offered a job at a school that has not specified this, please make sure that you give yourself that extra time to arrive, because house hunting in a new country, usually with a language that is different, even if the language is the same, the culture is different. You need that time. You do not want to arrive at a school when everything is already going down and you're house hunting. It does not bode well. You will crash and burn, and you'll just be unnecessarily stressed. And you don't want that. You want to be fresh. You want to meet the parents, which I shall explain. You want to meet the parents looking nice and fresh, and you do not want to add house hunting and all the paperwork to that. This brings me to the paperwork section. You will need to get yourself sorted and documented in this new country. That means the entry visa, or whatever visa you used to come into the country, is usually sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's 3 months they give you. If you're in Europe, they might give you 3 months. If you're in the Middle East, you might get a month. If you're in Southeast Asia, you might get 2 weeks. In the US, it depends. In Australia, you would get about a month. And you have to make sure you exchange your entry visa into a work permit within that time, or else you will be classed as illegal. Do not forget, you're there on a highly skilled visa, but you have not converted it yet. That visa in your passport is just an entry visa. That was granted by the immigration ministry of that country where you're going to work. It's just an entry visa. You still need to convert it into a work permit, or else the Ministry of Education cannot take you on. So while you're house hunting, you're doing your visa documentation. Some people have a different circumstance where they're already in the country, perhaps on a spousal visa or as a dependent. So their case is different. I'm talking about a teacher who has been hired from their home country or wherever and moving into a new country to work as a teacher, as an expat teacher. And your contract will usually state this. It will state this on your contract, that you are on an expatriate job. During this visa documentation, you would also be doing your documentation with the Ministry of Education. So the school might be asking you for a lot of things while your induction is going on. They'll be pulling you here and there, or they will have a specific time in your timetable where you have your induction at one time, and then you have to run to another department to get your visa documentation sorted, and then run back to induction, and then run to the resource office because you need to start getting yourself ready before school starts. So be prepared. Make sure you rest and you get yourself in that mind frame. It's an exciting time. I usually see it as a romantic time when everything is new, everything is happening. But then I'm like an energizer bunny. So for me, it's just perfect. And my children just understand, Mom's I'm at that point where I'm It's like falling in love with a new person. I'm falling in love with my new host country, my new job, and diving into it. Everything's new and is rushing at me at the speed of light. And if you have this kind of mindset, you will enjoy it. Because I find in many schools that I've gone to, this is a time when many foreigners complain. They complain about things not happening the way it used to happen in their home country. They complain that everything's happening all at once. They complain about every single thing, and then they give that negative vibe. Please don't join them. You will be watched. School is watching you. And don't forget, you always have that probationary period, and this is your probation time. You do not want to have negative energy in your probation time. They will know. You're the new person there. Everybody else is old. They will know who the ones who's sticking out like a sore thumb. You do not want to be that. And besides, you're in a new country. Enjoy it. Imagine you're on holiday, but you're just doing paperwork on holiday, and it will get you through a lot at that point in time. In this whole time, you'll be doing health checks as well. You know, the police report we talked about in my last video, this is when you need to produce it and give it to them so that they can put everything together and submit it to the Ministry of Education in that country. Remember, the school will be doing your evaluations for you. Again, I'm talking about teachers who were hired from outside of the country into a host country to teach. I'm not talking about someone who's already there on another visa. So please be aware of that. Don't say because you're watching this video now and your situation is different. No, I'm specifically talking about someone coming into a country straight from another country to work as a teacher in a host country. Now, moving on, you'll be doing your visa checks, you'll be doing your documentation, they'll be doing evaluation. So they'll be asking you for so many, the school will ask you for so many documents. You'll need to have your authenticated and certified qualifications with you at this point, or else you'll be on the next plane home. If you've not done that yet, please watch this video that will tell you exactly what to do with that. This is a crucial point where you remember you're on a short-term entry visa, which means if you can't get all these things sorted, you'll be on the next flight back home, and you don't want that after saying goodbye to people at home. So you get all these things sorted, they send it off. While they send it off and it's being prepared and they're doing your visa, you're hitting the ground running at the new school. Because you'll be getting your banks sorted. That means the school will help you get a mobile telephone that will be linked to your bank so that you can have online banking. You'll have all those things. Just think about all the things that you need. You'd need to get yourself, with your health report, you'd need to get yourself registered on the health system in that country. If it's a private if it's a private insurance that the school has put you on, this is the time they get you to do it from the beginning, because it all goes together with your visa, your work visa. You get your health report. If you need to go for medical tests, this is the time. So you're searching for house, you're doing induction, you're registering at the hospital, you're registering with in Spain we have something called the Seguridad Social. You're registering with that as well. It's bam, 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 bam. And when you get back to the hotel in the evening, you have no energy left but to sleep, but you cannot, because you have to start planning. You have to start planning for your new classroom. You have to draw out your layout. You have to think about, some people draw out their layouts before they get to the new country, but I think it's useless because you don't know what your new classroom will be like. I had this classroom that was octagonal, and I had drawn up a plan for a square classroom, so I had to move things around. I was lost and I was frustrated, but I knew that it was my fault. So don't do that. When you get there, sit down in the evening after you've run around the whole town and then plan out what your classroom will be, because I'm imploring you, you need to know what your layout would be. If you don't have a class layout, your classroom will not look organized. And if your classroom doesn't look organized, when the parents come in, Yes, you heard me right. Parents will be coming in before the children come in, because at international schools, we want to show off our school, we want to show off the new country, we want to show off our new teachers, we want to show off everything. So we have an induction day for parents as well. We just want parents to be on the same page as us. They want the parents to meet you, the new teacher. They want you to meet the parents, so that you can iron out anything. If there's any issues with that you need to be aware of, you need to know. So on that day, you will have your pen and paper, and you will write down everything the parents tell you after the meeting. Now, before I run off with this idea, I will come back to the parents part later. But back to the part where you get your classroom, you get your phone, you get your you get your bank sorted, you get your telephone, you get your internet, you get everything sorted. I mean, the internet, your mobile data, you get everything sorted. So you are connected, because some schools have an internal memo system. They call it the IM. In many schools where I've worked, they have an IM just for teachers, and you need to be aware of what's going on at that time. Now, by the time all this has happened, the old teachers would have arrived, and they will gather you all together, and you have a team building activity. They'll split you up into your departments. They will split you up. They'll give you your class list. They'll give you your resources for your class. They'll give you everything you need. At this point in time, the school will give you a laptop, a mobile phone, and an iPad. You will get the same thing too. Even if you had you have your own laptop from home, many schools will not let you log into their school system with your laptop. If the school allows you to log into their system with your laptop, congratulations. It means you're lucky. Many of the schools where I've worked, they will not let you come a mile within the school premises with your laptop, because they see it as a security risk. So have that in mind. If your school tells you, do not moan, do not argue, just understand it's for security, because you'll be handling children's data and parents' data, and they don't want any information breach. Now, when all this happens, you will then have to log in, set up your passwords, log into your school portal at once. Don't wait, and start your plans. You have to draw up a whole week's worth of lesson plans, like welcoming activities for the children or the students you'll be teaching. If you're in the early years, you have your team meeting where you'll sit down and you talk about what you plan to do for the year. Don't worry about reinventing the wheel. Most of the schools I've worked at would have already sorted out the topic for that first term. So you're just coming in. They know that you're still settling in. They've done it for you. Do not try to think that they're stupid. Don't think that you're going to throw all that away and do yours. Just go with the flow. They've done it for you. Go with it. You can tweak things later. You don't have the time or the energy at the beginning. There's so much happening. Just go with it. Go with it. It's your teaching style that matters. They might give you a topic, but your teaching style will know how to work with that. Now, this is the time where your head of department will meet with you. Head of department or year group supervisor or year group leader will meet with you. They'll try to talk you through the nitty-gritty of that department, and if you have any problems, you should tell them. Please don't throw any personal problems in the person's path. Remember, the person is a teacher too. He's going through his own motions as well. He might not be doing as much as you're doing, or he might be doing the same thing you're doing. Don't throw any personal things there, please. Don't start the year on that note. If you have any personal problems, you can start buddying people from your team building activities and try to talk to them. If you say that to your year group supervisor, if it's a personal thing, and then everybody starts telling your year group supervisor or year group leader their personal problems, nobody's going to enjoy that year, because they'll mark you down as one to look out for, or look out for this one, always moaning about something. Save your personal problems for either Google, which would be your friend, or make a buddy on your team. That's why there was a team building activity. So make use of that. At this point, you will meet your TA and you both sit down and draw up an activity. You start bonding with your TA. You set up your classroom. Actually get your class ready for children to arrive. You get your books, the children's books, you get your class resources, you get everything is being thrown at you. And this is usually happening within 2 weeks. Yes, yes, if you have children, yeah, if you have children in a new country, you don't know anybody, just bring them into your classroom with you. And or if they're old enough, you can leave them at the hotel, let them just swim and just enjoy themselves. But if they're not old enough, you have to bring them in with you, and that's going to be another thing. If you have a partner, leave your children with your partner. You don't need them. That's not the time for them, unless they can help you decorate your classroom and help you do all of that. I usually prepare my resources, my class decorations and all of that during the summer. And you will be pleasantly you'll be rested. You would not have that much to do. It's just do the basics, and then you can always take it with you, because you don't know if you're going to have access to that in your new country. Then the day that you've been waiting for the whole time, the day you meet the parents, I usually meet the parents prepared. I would have a PowerPoint slide where I will talk about myself in a professional way, sort of like my CV parents version. And I would have it on the board. It will talk about who I am, put a bit of fun into it. Make sure you make them relax, because they're going to be entrusting their children into your care. You don't want to rub them off the wrong way, because we know how important parents are to the way that you're able to cope with the children the whole year. Give them a chance to talk to you and explain things to you, because they know their children. They will tell you, oh, my child has ADHD, he's been diagnosed. They will just call you aside and try to give you a heads up. Please have a book. I always have a book. Every year, I always have a book. Have a book and make sure that you write things down. When you write things down, you can always go back to it later, even if you forget, and have just note things down as they're writing in your shorthand or something. Little notes about each child after they've seen your PowerPoint presentation. And when all of that is done, another thing, if the school provides coffee and tea, that's fine. If the school does not provide coffee and tea, please, in the times when you were being shown around the houses, have a look. You would have known where the market is. Just get squash or something, a drink, and just biscuits. Lay them on a table somewhere and let your TA help you with that. It goes a long way in showing that hospitality is part of your professional life, and that you understand that meeting them for the first time, this is what you do. It sort of eases them into the year. I always have coffee and tea on the side for parents. Some schools that I've gone to would have that for parents anyway, but I will make sure that if they're not providing that, I provide that for them. It's not much. Just put the coffee and tea on a little tray or something to the side, decorate that table, and let them go there and munch from it and talk to them. After you've introduced yourself and they've been able to get to know you, if you're in primary, have a list of things you want them to know, important things you want them to know for the year. For example, you want to know the mode of communication. Do you prefer emails, or do you just prefer them to use the communication books? Because some schools have communication books. If you don't want that, you want them to send you a message in the journals or in the book bags in the morning. Please, this is when you need to tell them. You need to tell them what it's like, an induction. So you are having your own personal induction at the school. Make good use of it. If you're in the early years, have a little folder, a plastic wallet kind of thing. Put pictures in, or put what you want. Maybe you want extra clothes, you want toiletries, make sure you don't do it on your own. Make sure that it's in line with what your year group is doing, and just put a little bit of touches to make yourself look well prepared and professional. When the parents have gone, they will always have a good thing to say about you and your professionality, and how you've already engaged them and told them what you expect for the year. If you have a summary of your first week, what you're going to do, you can put it type it out, make it look beautiful, put it in that folder. If you're in secondary, same thing. Talk about what you expect for behavior, mode of communication, what you expect from the children, what you want them to achieve by the end of the year, and just things that get them ready for what you're bringing that year. This is also the time where if you have any parents who you feel, ooh, that parent said something that I'm not very sure of, note it down. It's a professional question. Ask your year group coordinator or your line manager, and they will put you through. So that way you're starting the year on a good foot. Things will still go wrong, but at least do your best to sort of stall the things that could go wrong that you can stall. Next, first day of school with the children. Oh my God. A minute silence for that. So children are children. Remember, they're coming from a probably 12-week holiday or an 8-week holiday or a 9-week holiday. It depends on what part of the world you're going to teach at. If you're coming to Spain, children would have been on 12-week holiday because they finish at the beginning of June and they come back in September. They will come back and they would have forgotten every single rule they learned last school year. Take it in your stride and understand that it's a gradual process. Start with welcoming them in and start modeling behavior and showing them the behavior that you expect. If you need help on that, check out my behavior management video, which will help you to set the year right. Remember, you're a new teacher in a new country. You don't want to rub people off, but you want to pass your probation period so that they can extend your contracts and probably pay you the bonus at the end of the year. So you need to get things sorted quickly. When the children come, remember, the way you start is the way you end. Don't be stern. They're just coming off their holiday. They don't know anything. But also know how to show them that this is what I expect from you in a nice, calm voice, but firm, calm, and it will all work well. It will all work well for you. By the time you come to this point, your first month would have passed. After 2 weeks of doing the rinse and repeat of behavior management with the children, they would have gotten used to your style, they would have gotten used to you, they would have gotten used to what you expect, and you will be fine. Make sure that you have asked your line manager for the syllabus. You do that during your team building activity. Make sure that you read the ethos and policy of the school. They would have given you that at the induction. Make sure that you are in the know of the behavior management policy of the school. Make sure that all the important documents, you have them all at your fingertips, and you will be fine. This is how my first month at my new school goes. I hope yours goes even more beautifully for you. If you need more content like this on teaching abroad, working abroad, thriving abroad, and having a blast while doing all of this abroad, please make sure you like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell for more content like this. And I shall see you in the next episode. Bye. Enjoy your new school year.